In this video, I will show you how to install Alpine Linux on whatever distribution you're using right now. So whatever distro you're running at the moment, you can install Alpine Linux very easily in just a few seconds actually, in a chroot, which stands for change root. And I will show you the whole process. So on another workspace here, I have some notes, and I will simply go through these notes and show you how to create a chroot. But this will be the actual work that needs to be done. The actual setup is very quick. So this is based on an article from the Alpine Linux wiki. So if I switch to my browser here, this is the wiki entry, Alpine Linux in a chroot, and it goes through this whole thing. And yeah, this is what I did, and this is what my notes or where my notes are from. There's also, it mentions up here, there's also an Alpine Linux or an Alpine chroot install script. And so this is on GitHub. I have not tried this, but this more or less does the same thing, but in a more straightforward way. But I wanted to do it kind of this manual way to understand what's happening. And yeah, also I don't know if this is actually up to date. It was updated last 2 years ago. So yeah, I don't know. So I have no experience with this, but I will go through what is written here. So let's just start. So you need a directory. Oh, here I have named it chroot, but I actually have named it Alpine chroot. So, or you can name it, of course, whatever you want. You can put it wherever you want. Just have an empty directory. So for me, this is this here. All I have here is this notes file, which is this one right here. Then I will change to the root user because I will run the rest of this as root. So do su. And now I'm root. Next, I will set a few environmental variables, which will then be used in the rest of the script, or the rest of these notes really. Because I mean, you can't run this as script because this line here would break the script. But okay, whatever. So I set the mirror, the architecture, version, chroot directory, and branch. And I will kind of explain these when they are used in the rest of this. So let's just set these. Next, I will curl the APK tools static binary, and this is kind of the most important part of the script, and this is also kind of where most of the work gets done. Well, work for the computer, I mean. So we need to get the static binary, and we get this from the mirror variable, which we set up here. I just chose the normal Alpine Linux mirror. Latest stable, latest version, latest branch, main for the main repository, and then the architecture, which is x86-64 in my case, or well, in most cases probably. And we want Alpine APK tool static, and then the version. The version for this is kind of, you can't really know this in advance without actually looking it up, I think. So it is, right now as I'm recording this, is 3.0.0-R0, but how you find this is, so right here there is a link to all the available Alpine Linux mirrors, and I've already pulled this up. And if you now go to this, so go to this link, or go to this mirror actually, then latest stable, main, and then the architecture, you will see a list of all the APKs in the main repository. And if I now search for APK tools, there are a bunch of packages here, and the one we care about is the static right here, and here you can see the version number. So it's this 3.0.7-R0. So this is why I set this here. So this is what we need to get. So let's run this. This will now get the file. Here it is. And so what APK files are, they are just archives. Archives with files in them, or compressed archives. So we can just unpack this. Then we get this sbin directory. Here we have signatures, but also this apk.static. And if I now file this, we will see that it is just a normal ELF 64-bit executable. So statically linked. So this will run anywhere. No matter, I think it doesn't matter whether you're using glibc or musclec or any other C library, because this is completely statically linked. All right, to now install the system, all you really need to do is run this one command. So this uses this APK static binary, which I just showed you. Then it sets kind of the destination where to get the required packages from. Then I don't know what this U flag is for. Allow untrusted is because we are not setting any keys here, so we can't actually verify signatures. I think this is better in this is solved in this Alpine chroot install script. I think they set some signatures here. Yeah, Alpine keys. So these get set here. But again, I'm not sure if these are up to date because I think these also sometimes change. But yeah, again, I haven't tried it out. So then it sets the root directory or the directory in which to install the system in, and the initial packages to install. So in this case, it's just Alpine base. So let's just run this, and you will see that this runs very, very quickly, and it's done. And now we have a full Alpine Linux installation. To actually use this now, to actually chroot into it and use it, we need to do just a few other things. We need to mount these virtual directories, so dev, proc, and sys, and we will just use the normal directories of the current running system. So let's run these. And I think for dev, there's also there are a few methods. So I just use this default method, but you can also create them manually. And I think this is for if you want to have, of course, more control of which devices you make accessible to this chroot. So for example, you might not want to make some disk you have mounted or you have connected to your system accessible in this chroot. All right. Next, we need to also set up domain resolution. So either you can just copy your normal resolve.conf, or you can create a new one with, for example, this name server 8.8.8.8. I will just copy the one I have. So let's do that. And lastly, we need to set up repositories. So these live in etc apk and then the repositories file. So first we need to create this directory, and then we will echo these two lines into it. So first the main repository and then the community repository also. All right. And that's pretty much it. Or no, but that's it. We can now chroot into this. So we can now change our root to this and then also execute bin ash as our first command, as our shell. So let's do that, and yeah, here we are. This is it. This is our chroot Alpine Linux installation. So ls root, and this is now the root directory of this chroot, obviously. So, and in here you can now do all the things you would do in your normal, or you could do in a normal Alpine Linux installation. So, for example, we can add packages, or we can remove packages, and we can just manage this system which lives in this directory. So, yeah, that's how you can try out Alpine Linux on your running system, in case you're still thinking about installing it, or want to experiment with it, or also want to kind of have a clean slate system, to try things out, and this kind of stuff. So one additional thing I want to show you is how you can run graphical applications or graphical programs from within this chroot in your normal X session, because this is something you may want to do. So if I do as, of course, we are now also root user, so you can also set up users here and all this kind of stuff. So what I will do is I will add a graphical program, for example, mu.pdf, or mu.pdf, I guess. And so again, this is graphical, and then I will kind of launch it to have it running in my normal X session. So I hope that makes sense. And this is, of course, now only for X11. This is what I use and what I kind of got running. So in relation to this chroot thing, I have no experience with Wayland, but I guess it's gonna be something similar with Wayland. So yeah, this is almost done installing, and there's only really one command you need to run, but I will first show you the problem with this, and then I will show you the solution. So yeah, syncing disks, and mu.pdf, in case that isn't obvious, is a PDF reader. So But it also does, I think you can also open like EPUBs or whatever with it. So, okay, so this is now kind of my fault in preparation, because this now opens and everything's fine and well because I have already fixed the problem, of course. So how you fix it, because normally this will not run fine, but you need to run this xhost and then a plus. This is for, so I can run this here, of course, do as. This is for controlling which clients can connect to your X session. And if I do minus and now try to run this, this is the error you will normally get. So authorization required, but no authorization protocol specified. And again, how you solve this is by running this xhost plus, and on your normal system, of course, not in the chroot. So, and you also need to install the package for this on Alpine at least, and this is xhost. So just install that, and you're fine and have the command and can run this. So this is for, again, controlling who can connect to a running X server. So let's do this, I guess. Yeah, no, you can you must just run it as your normal user. Okay, so, and if I now run this again, it will now work fine. And we can now open some PDF. I don't know, what do I have here? Test.pdf. Let's do this in Alpine, chroot, root. Permission denied. So if we now go to root, we can open this and have this PDF I copied from my normal system. So yeah, that's how you can run X programs within this, from within this chroot. All right, so I think that's pretty much all I wanted to show you. That's all the important parts, I think. Again, this is great for just experimenting with Alpine and trying it out and seeing if it fits you, if it fits your use case, or also having like a clean slate system. So yeah, that's all I wanted to show you. That's it. Have a nice day.